50, 45, there goes Davis!
Oh my God!
Davis is going to run it all the way back! Auburn's going to win the football game! Auburn's going to win the football game! He ran the missed field goal back! He ran it back 109 yards! They're not going to keep him off the field tonight! Holy cow! Oh my God! Auburn wins! Auburn has won the Iron Bowl! Auburn has won the Iron Bowl in the most unbelievable fashion you will ever see!
Oh, good to be back, everyone. Welcome into a brand new edition of the Dream Wager, episode 440. Today is Wednesday, September 11th, 2024. Not the game I wanted, but some positives we'll talk about it. But how you doing today, kid?
I'm still a little under the weather, Dill, but we're okay. You know, we're getting through it. Great Monday night. Let's see how the week turns out, Dill, but feeling a little better still under the weather.
That's good. I'm glad to hear you're feeling a little better. Got to get better for Thursday night football.
Oh, yeah. We'll be money by Thursday.
Oh, well, that's what I like to hear. Taking some medicine? Wait, what are we taking?
I ain't taking much. I ain't
Okay.
gonna hold you. You know, I drunk some tea, some remedies. You know, a little bit of some nasal spray.
Okay.
But I'm not a big medicine guy.
Okay. All right. Well, we got a great episode for you guys. We'll recap the games that happened Sunday night, Monday night as well. First ever power rankings. We will debut our power rankings for week one, only 1 week, so subject to change. We got Thursday night, Bills at Dolphins. Great game down in Miami. We got plays for you there. And then we got about a 15-game schedule for the MLB on a Wednesday, but only a few plays that we like. A lot of the games, you know, are kind of mush where really no implications going on. Some teams have been eliminated already. But yeah, I do want to start Sunday Night Football. We were recording on Monday's show while that game was going on. Lions thriller in overtime, 26-20. Lions get the game. David Montgomery, big game, 17 carries for 91 yards. Jameson Williams came alive, 5 catches, 121 yards. Unfortunately, Puka Nacua, we'll talk about his injury in just a sec, but what a game Cooper Kupp had. 14 catches, 110 yards. He had that touchdown as well. And you kind of knew it was just going to be a one-man machine after Puka Nacua went down. Weren't able to really run the ball as much as I thought they were going to be able to. Both quarterbacks I thought played well. Matthew Stafford just clutch after clutch throw. I honestly thought they were going to win the game, if I'm being honest. But really good game to start to end, I guess, week one. What's your thoughts on Sunday Night Football?
Yo, first of all, this was a game. You know, it sucks what happened with Puka Nacua, but I feel like in the first half, you know, especially with the Rams offense, they couldn't really block nobody. It was a lot of pressure, and the offense kind of stalled. And then when him and Cooper Kupp started getting that connection, though, the offense started flourishing. And, you know, let's just say midway third quarter, they started clicking. Was able to, you know, make plays, get the ball, moving the ball down the field. Give credit to Detroit Lions. In the first half, that defense secondary looked great. You know, looked pretty damn good. Jared Goff got to a little slow start, but he came on. David Montgomery, he literally started where he left off last season. That's great. That's a great signing. Jahmyr Gibbs still looked great, you know, running and passing. Jameis Winston is definitely the biggest overall surprise for the game. We both know, and some people listening know, Jameis Winston is an immense talent. He just, you know, didn't really get the opportunities. You know, Amon St. Brown became a star. Sam Laporta last year. He missed first 5-6 games last year with suspension. He came on. Great game overall, Dale. I like the way the Rams played in the second half. When him and Cooper Kupp, Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp started getting that connection going, they were alive. Dude, like you said, it was in the fourth quarter, I was like, damn, can the Rams come back and win this game? And they almost did. You got to give them credit. The fact that Matthew Stafford dropped back 50 times, I don't love that. The running game, how successful they were last season with Caleb Williams, was kind of, you know, a no-show, 18 carries, 50 yards. That's not going to get it done. Did get the TD, but wasn't anything to build off. But overall, great win for the Detroit Lions. I like the fact that they were able to get that pressure in the first half. Just wasn't able to get there really in the second half.
Yeah, that was, I think, the biggest problem for me with the Rams. They weren't able to establish the run. Credit to the D line for the Detroit Lions. Aiden Hutchinson had a game as well. He was everywhere. They're both two really good teams in the NFC. I think we will see them later down in the road. Are you worried St. Brown really didn't get the touches that I guess we're used to him seeing? I mean, credit Sean McVay kind of isolating him and only having 3 catches for 13 yards, but that just can't happen. Your number one wide receiver like that. Granted, Jamison Williamson, he stepped up, but if he goes cold, they don't win this game.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too worried about it just because, it's just one game. He still walked out with a victory. But, Dale, you were successful on the ground. You had 163 yards rushing. That's going to win you games. I understand Ahmad didn't show up, but the fact that he was giving it 121 for Jameis Winston, Dale, that's making some noise. And he did it, on the ground as well. You got 13 yards on a rush. I think Ahmad will be, just fine. If you told me Jared Goff just threw for 160 yards and he was trying to look Ahmad's way, just couldn't get the connection, then I'd be a little worried, But if for example, if he had like 9 targets, just 3 receptions, that would be an issue. That would be a little cause for concern. But just one game against a pretty good Rams team, I'm not gonna make it a big deal.
All right, and then Monday Night Football, we get the late news before the game starts. Down goes Christian McCaffrey. The calf injury was still an issue with him. Likely going to be out week 2 as well. But, I think after that, we're going to get 100% CMC. So good news for fantasy owners for later in the season. But it doesn't matter. I mean, Mason just had a career year, 28 carries, 147 yards. Good to see Alan Lazard get 2 TDs. I'll say this real quick. Not disappointed. Not a lot of Jet fans I see online overreacting, saying, "Up, same old." If you watched last night and you said the same old Jets, you're really not a true fan, and I don't know what you're watching, because our offensive line played great.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 1 sack on Aaron Rodgers. If you would have told me that before, with that defensive line, Nick Bosa, Leonard Floyd getting after him, I would kind of laugh and be like, yeah, we've upgraded our offensive line, but for 1 sack, I don't know about that. I thought the offensive line played great. Gotta cut off the turnovers. That can't happen. 2 turnovers within the first 3 plays or 3 possessions. That can't happen either. Gotta cut that out. Offensively, there are signs. That drive converting on 3 third downs. I mean, the connection, you could see it already between Garrett Wilson and Aaron Rodgers. I think he needs to get the ball a little more. Weren't able to run the ball, but I would argue that was on both sides. I don't think we were able to run the ball, and I don't think we were able to get pressure. So both of our offensive line and defensive line, didn't get up front pressure. That is my problem with the offense. But I saw signs like this could be a different Jet team. I saw promise. I saw a quarterback still could whip it. I said, okay, look like Aaron Rodgers out there. I liked it. I really did. Mike Williams, he didn't really get too much burn. We're kind of ticking him back slowly but surely. So I saw some signs, man. I'm not worried offensively. I think the biggest concern, was the defense.
Mm-hmm.
Don't sit here and I'll firsthand up in a minute. That's not a top 5 defense at all. And I'll even say, I mean, secondary, perfect. I thought the secondary played amazing. Everyone wants to harp on Sauce Gardner for taking a series off. He got injured and came back when he felt ready. 30 coverage snaps, last night against the 49ers. 1 target, 0 catches, 1 pass breakup. They don't want to throw to Sauce. That is a given. So our secondary was fine. I think DJ Reed got beat a little bit by Johnson. But outside of that, I thought our linebackers played great. They came up, they hit. But our D-line, They got
Oof.
absolutely no pressure. I think everyone in the fucking world watching that game knew what Kyle Shanahan was going to do. They were going to run the ball, and they said, "Can you stop us?" And the Jets couldn't. They couldn't get any pressure. The only person that was getting double teamed, that was getting some pressure, was Quinnen Williams, but he was getting double teamed after the night, so he couldn't do anything. Jermaine Johnson, what have you been doing? I mean, I've heard all the smart guys talk about our defensive line is so deep. We got Kinlaw. We got all these guys. We don't need Hassan Reddick. Sure seemed like we needed Hassan Reddick last night. And granted, even if Hassan Reddick was on the field, I don't know if yesterday or last night would have been much different, if I'm being honest. But we got bully balled. Don't tell me this is a top 5 defense. This is people who told me, oh, they're going to hang their heads on the defense this year. They're going to go into Santa Clara. They're going to hang on defense. Let's see about the offense. No, I found actually more answers on the offense than I did the defense. The defense looked awful outside of the back 7. The front 7 looked, I mean, it was atrocious. They couldn't get no pressure up front. Brock Purdy had all the time, and they couldn't stop a nosebleed with the run. Credit the rookie. I thought he had an amazing game. And I mean, why would you change your offense if they couldn't stop you? That's my thing. So everyone's talking about, oh, they didn't run or they didn't pass the ball. They played kind of one dimensional. Yeah, because the Jets couldn't fucking stop them. Oh, and I also say this. I like the last drive. Tyrod Taylor drove the boys down the field and they scored. That was a good sight to see. The Jets haven't had a good backup in forever. But there were some signs. I'm sorry I'm long-winded, but there were some signs. But I think the main story was our defense.
First of all, Don, I'm just glad to hear, you be honest.
It's objective. I'm being honest.
You're being honest, and that's one thing I want to get to. I'm not going to overreact at all. I think the Jets offense, for a guy who just came off an Achilles tear at 40 years old, he looked pretty good. I'm not going to say he looked great. I'm not saying he going to look like the 2018, 2019 MVP. He's not that yet, but we see the potential, and I think he'll be just fine. My main concern offensively was the fact that I wasn't able to establish the running game. I don't know if that was an offensive line problem or is it just San Francisco's defense that good. I'm going to give it a combination of both with a little lean towards San Francisco defense is just that good. I'm not going to overreact too much, though. Overall, offensively, I think besides the drop early on, Lazard played pretty damn well. Garrett Wilson played pretty damn well. Breece Hall, besides the fumble, played all right. I just wish he would have did a little more damage rushing the ball. Now, defensively, Dill, this is supposed to be your bread and butter. You've been a, no doubt, top 5 defense 3 years straight in the league with one of the worst quarterbacks plays. Now that you got a quarterback, you can't afford not to be a top 5 defense. Still, don't get me wrong. You have the talent level offensively. You could go middle of the pack, but to accomplish the things you want to accomplish as a long-term, long-life Jets fan, still, you're going to need a top 5 defense to get to where y'all want to be. That's the concerning part, Dill. For all the noise I heard this offseason, all the Jets defense, Dill, they were getting moved. That offensive line for the 49ers were moving them. Did you see his first, I think it was his second touchdown, honestly. You saw the gap he had. I could have ran that ball in at the goal line.
And we've seen it for years now. Not even just the offensive line and them getting to the second level, getting to the linebackers. We saw George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk blocking 10, 15 yards downfield. You just don't see that from wide receivers.
And Dale, this is another thing where I'm going to get to it. The Jets only had the ball for 21 minutes. It's a 60-minute game. The 49ers dominated time of possession. And here's the kicker, though, that is you're gonna be like, wow, it's true. This game could have been worse. The 49ers went 2 for 5 in the red zone. You saw it, Brandon. You dropped the touchdown in the corner.
Yep.
This game could have been worse, and that's the concerning part. I understand you lost, but the fact that this game could have gotten ugly. I'm not going to overreact with the offense there, but defensively, y'all need to switch it around quick. I understand the 49ers are a high-power offense, but that wasn't the offensive player of the year who torched you guys. That was an undrafted player. Don't get
Yeah.
me wrong. Give credit to Kyle Shanahan. I'm not going to say this enough. Kyle Shanahan is a genius with running the plays, rushing attack alone. He's a genius. But an undrafted free agent shouldn't be able to do that against a top 5 defense still. So that's
100%.
my biggest takeaway of the game. Give credit to the 49ers for just the lines defensively and offensively dominating the game. Give credit to Trent Williams, who wasn't there all preseason, all training camp. He just signed a deal. What, Tuesday, Monday? Remember, there was question marks. He wouldn't even probably be eligible for the game. Still, he there now allow one pressure in 33 snaps. Not one pressure. You got to give that man his credit, Dill.
Yeah, and I don't think he missed a single snap until like the third or fourth quarter
No,
as
fourth
well.
quarter. He
the
left
fourth quarter,
to get
yeah.
an IV.
Yeah, exactly. So he didn't miss a snap either. So
And then allow no pressure. Man
Yeah.
hasn't practiced since the Super Bowl.
I think, this is a good test week 1. This is a team that's been to the top multiple years in a row now. They haven't gotten over the hump, but this is a top 5 team in the NFL.
They're a true contender.
Yeah,
Year in,
and
year out.
we know what it looks like now. The Jets know what you need to do to get to the Super Bowl or at least get close is what the San Francisco did. And at least we know that now. I think our defense, we have a couple easier quote unquote games coming up. We have a guy at every level. Sauce in the secondary. We have CJ Mosley and Quincy Williams was a beast. And Quinton Williams at the defensive line, but we need to get more pressure. I think we will. I think they will turn it around. Short week against Tennessee this week on the road. But yeah, there were some things that I really did like you said, coming back from that horrific injury and then coming out and looking the way he did.
Especially that third drive, that was very impressive.
And it seemed like after we answered and we drove down the field and scored and we were up 7-3 after the first quarter, the
game was
looked
over.
back. Yeah, they never looked back.
Scored in 8 straight possessions.
Yeah. And, as much as I shit on the defense, they didn't have the best game. They did hold them to a field goal a lot of times where,
you got to give them credit. They
yeah.
did hold the high-powered 49ers offense for 2 for 5 in the red zone deal. But the fact is they dominated time possession. Every time they got to third, it was a short third and distance. Every time the Jets were in third, it was a 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 6. To me, you just see, honestly, Dill, the 49ers are just better prepared and better coached.
100%.
That's all.
And I've said that last year. You come in slow, and that's what the Jets look like the first couple of sessions. They turn the ball over, they fumble it, go 3 and out, quick 3 and out. You just look underprepared, and that comes down to coaching. I've said this last year as well. Penalized team. We didn't get a lot of penalties either, which was good, but there's some work to do. I saw some signs. Not going to overreact. That is a Super Bowl contending team right there that we just lost to. So I'm not going to overreact. Let's go into our actually, before we do that, I did want to talk about some news. We talk about Puka Nacua. He is going to be placed on IR with that knee injury. He's going to miss at least 4 games. Are you worried with this offense that they're kind of being one-dimensional now with just Cooper Kupp? They have Karen Williams, but he struggled last week.
Yeah, I'm not going to be too worried about it just because Cooper Kupp did look like that 2022 Offensive Player of the Year form when he won the Triple Crown. But, overall, I think the Rams will be just fine. If you tell me he's going to be out for the season, that's a different story. But just for, let's just say 4 to 6 weeks. Let's just say he's out for 4 to 6 weeks still. I think they'll be okay. I still like like you said, you still got Karen Williams. You still got the rookie Corham, who I expect to be, let's just say, a little impactful whenever he makes his debut. DeMarcus Robinson looked okay. I think he had himself a pretty good game. Tyler Johnson, to see what he could do. We know Tutu Atwell. He could be a deep threat as well. And not for none, I did like the tight end. I think it's Kobe Parkinson. He looked pretty good. So overall, I'm not gonna be too worried just for 4 to 6 weeks. But if Cooper Kupp didn't pull up that performance, just say Cooper Kupp just had a mediocre game, 6 catches, 58 yards, I'd be a little worried. But the fact that you had somewhat of the Offensive Player of the Year signing from 2 years ago from Cooper Kupp, I'm be honest, still that looked pretty damn good.
Yeah, definitely tough for some fantasy owners as well.
A la me.
Yeah,
I have
you.
Fuka in one league. Just one league though.
Just one league, exactly. So nothing too crazy. We also got good news for Jake Ferguson. He'll only miss a few weeks. Sprained MCL. Also Bears first round pick Roma Dunze. He sprained his MCL as well. He's considered week to week. And we got 2 updates on quarterback. I told you my boy Malik Willis will start this Sunday. Jordan Love, they're not going to put him on injured reserve, which means I guess they think he's going to be back within the next 4 weeks, but a little extra time for Malik Willis to prepare. I worry about it a little. I know tongue in cheek, I joke I do like Malik Willis, but it is worrisome. It is a big drop off from Jordan Love to Malik Willis.
Yeah, if you told me Jordan, Malik Willis would have been there since June, I'd be like, okay, he knows the playbook. He got some reps in with this first team, second team.
He just got traded there.
He just got there, August 30th.
Yeah, something like that.
He has no more than 10 practice sessions in. I'm gonna say less than that. I'm gonna say 6 because Sunday ain't practice, Monday ain't practice. Friday, Saturday ain't practice. That's a long flight, though. So I just don't expect much from him. I think this week we're going to see him be a game manager. We're going to see them try to run the ball out with Josh Jacobs, see what they could do design-wise still. But for a guy who's just got there less than 2 weeks ago, the world can't expect much from him.
And we also have a week 2 starter in Pittsburgh. And thankfully, it's my boy, Justin Fields. Russell Wilson, quote, he feels better than over the weekend. Mike Tomlin says they'll start with his participation, level of it, and they'll analyze what he can and cannot do productive-wise. From all the people that I've heard and, read on Twitter, a lot of people had the different opinion against me and you saying they didn't really think Justin Fields did anything to keep his job, when I couldn't disagree more.
Well, like this, though.
Did he turn the ball over?
Is 6 field goals
I understand.
A successful day? No, that's my thing.
I agree. Real quick.
Real
quick. Yes, and I get it. 6 field goals doesn't look good, but they won the game, and Justin Fields has never had a defense like he does now.
I agree, Dill. And like I said, he didn't turn the ball over. He didn't really make poor decisions. We saw growth. And like I said, Dill, in my opinion, I think he at least deserved the starting job for another week or two till Russ is 100%, at least 90% or better. But you cannot deny the fact that 6 field goals ain't gonna get the job done.
No, I agree.
80% of the league. Let's just say if they were facing the Falcons week 7, I guarantee the Falcons offense would have just been a little better.
Yeah, that's fair.
Maybe a lot of teams 6 field goals doesn't get the win. It was able to get the win against Atlanta. Give credit to them. One thing I could say is Justin Fields at least deserve another week or 2 as the starter. But for the people out there, saying, Russ should start right away week 2, I could see why. At the end, 6 field goals is
it's ugly. I know.
And
what if he goes 3-0 though?
4 of them were damn near 48 plus.
What if he goes 3-0? Do you strip him then?
No. He earned the starting job,
I agree.
It's just,
why do people hate Justin Fields?
I'm not gonna say hate Justin Fields, but he's not. He didn't do anything that was like, oh yeah, he's gonna be the starter. He won the game, He didn't do anything. If he would have did out there, let's just say he played like Baker did.
Mm-hmm.
He's the starter. No,
you
know what I'm saying? He goes for 4 touchdowns, 3. Like even if he did what Tua does, come back, wins the game, over 300 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. We're going to be like, okay, look at Justin, But the fact that, he wasn't really, he made some plays with his legs, made that one great throw to George Pickens for the 40-yard connection, Other than that, it was just a good managed game by him, which you got to give him credit for.
Yeah. Hand up, I'm happy for the kid. I think everything he's dealt with, bad organization in Chicago, shipping him off to be a backup and then winning the starting.
Was you shocked,
quote unquote?
From my opinion, after Sunday's game, with what I said he should keep starting, was you surprised?
A little bit, yes, because I know how high you are on Russell Wilson.
No, Russ is just a better quarterback for this season. That's all.
We'll see.
In
We'll
3
see
years from
when he
now, I think
plays.
Justin Fields will be the better quarterback. But
I
right
hope
now,
so.
what Russ gives you the better opportunity to contend. That's all.
I'm rooting for Justin Fields, honestly. I
Me
really am.
too.
I
Me
hope he
too.
does. And I hope he goes undefeated and they can't take it away from him. That
Me
would be
too. I'll
hilarious.
take the Steelers, make the playoffs. Steelers over
Yeah, yep,
early.
cash some futures for you.
Yeah.
But overall, great week 1 of football. It is in the books. Week 1 record 20-10 between props, sides, totals, up 8.1 units. Started off the season strong with 20-10, kid. A little more volume than I think I anticipated, but worked out in my benefit. How did you do week 1?
I did bad, Dill. Not too crazy bad, but 11, 13, and 1 with that teaser I hit on the side. Should have also took the Pats +9, but didn't put it in there. Overall, it's okay. It's week 1. We'll be right back at it week 2. We got 17 more weeks of this. Just watch out.
Let's go. All right, let's get into our power rankings. I will start with our number 1. Or do you want to go to 10-1, or do you want to go 1-10?
Let's go to 10-1 because realistically, our top five is going to be very similar. I feel like our 6 through 10 is the ones. Let me start it off with number 10, Dill. Number 10. This was a hard one to come down with because don't get me wrong, 16 teams that won games. There's some teams that didn't win games who I feel like deserve to be on this list, and they are on this list still. But the number 10 team to me goes to the team who pulled off the biggest upset in week 1. It's a team who looks like one of the best defenses all of football in week 1. You can't deny that. I understand our offense is a little, let's just say, not up there. But you can't deny the performance we did on week 1. Give me the New England Patriots at number 10. You can say I'm biased, people, by all means. And guess what? Who cares? This is my show. I could pick my own power rankings. Give me the New England Patriots at number 10 and let it be known we're going to be a top 3 defense year.
I can't fault you for it. Week 1, they did go on and beat a lot of teams.
Most impressive win.
Yeah, and they beat a team that a lot of people anticipate to fight for their division, to make a deep run into the playoffs with a healthy Joe Burrow. And I'll say this, they're not there in my top 10, but I can't fault you for putting them there. I'll say this, watching a lot of the film afterwards, Joe Burrow's wrist doesn't look 100%. Did you see the videos that came out where, he's shaking his wrist? He can't even grab a water bottle really with full grip.
I don't know what's wrong with it, but I can honestly say, all bias aside, it's definitely not 100%. Maybe we did that. All I'm saying is, though, doesn't look like the MVP caliber Super Bowl leading Joe Burrow that we once seen. I will say that, but hey, got to give credit to our defense.
I'm going to go a different way. I'm going to go with a team that lost, but I still think is a very good team. I'm not going to go with my team. They are at 14. I'll let you know that right now. But I'm going to go with the LA Rams. They had an opportunity to win Sunday night. They played a really good game. I agree. I don't like Matthew Stafford dropping back 50 fucking times. I'll say that. They need to get the run game going a little bit. But I think their defense played a lot better than I think most people anticipated. A firepower offense going on the road in a standalone game. They held their own. And I think their defense is going to be just fine. I think they're a top 10 defense. And if they weren't playing, I would argue a top 5 team, they would have won that game. So I'm not worried about the Rams. Love the head coach. Love the offense. I think Karen Williams will get going a little bit. They played a really good team. So nothing to hang their head. And it took them to overtime to beat them as well. So I like the Rams. I think they'll be just fine. They're at number 10 for me.
Yeah, I honestly couldn't disagree with any of that. I got them at number 11. The only reason they didn't make my top 10 is, one, I'm a Patriots fan. And 2, that first half was just offensively was not a top 10 first half, in my opinion. Number 9, Dill, you might agree, might not agree. I know a lot of people out there will agree. Give me the Pittsburgh Steelers at number 9, Dill. That defense looked great. TJ Watt had himself a day. Defensively, I'm not worried about him. Offensively, Justin Fields, got to give him credit. He looked good. I think this team will be a little better with Russell Wilson, but hey, Justin Fields may not give him that opportunity. We'll find out, Dill. But with Najee Harris, George Pickens, I like the weapons they have, Jalen Warren as well. But defensively, Dill, all jokes aside, the Patriots have the best defense. The Steelers might have the best defense as of right now. Give me the Steelers at number 9.
Yeah, for number 9 for me, I'm gonna go the Miami Dolphins. Like what they did it's a tale of two halves with them. In the first half, they really couldn't move the ball, couldn't really score. But like you said, Tua kind of find his way a little bit. I think the defense finally got pressure. They were able to stop him at the goal line, force a fumble with ETN down at the goal line. I thought their defense played better. They got banged up a little bit, but they pitched a second half shutout in a comeback victory. I think the new defensive coordinator, Anthony Weaver, there's going to be some growing pains there. But, Miami held Jacksonville for 0 for 5 on third downs. That's hard against a Jacksonville team led by Dougie P. I like this Dolphin team. I won't say love, but good comeback win. I think they deserve to be in the top 10. So I got Dolphins at 9.
Well, I like it though. I like it. I had Dolphins at 12, so I'm not gonna disagree with you. At number 8, though, this is a team who I honestly will have higher, but they took an L, though. They took an L. Give me the Baltimore Ravens at number 8. Not gonna overreact. At the end of the day, they did face the champs, But overall, I think Lamar would just be just fine. Offensive line will be just fine. I just feel like when you run into the powerhouse to the Chiefs in Kansas City, it's just hard matchup for just anybody. I think the Ravens will be just fine. Give me the Baltimore Ravens at number 8.
Yeah, for me, number 8, I am going to take the Buffalo Bills. Another team, they battled through some challenges early on. Arizona looked like they were able to move up and down the field, but I thought, second half they were able to put a really good defensive effort, stopping Kyler Murray. They were able to really shut down Marvin Harrison Jr., even though he was wide the fuck open that one play.
Stop paying attention to him.
I don't know why. He's just the number 3 overall pick, but that doesn't matter. I still like what they were able to do. I know Keon Coleman's getting into things. Dalton Kincaid didn't have a good game, but Josh Allen is just a beast, and I think he will get Dalton Kincaid involved a little more. So, I think they came out second half much better, much more physical of a team. I think they're going to play that little more of style come Thursday, which we'll talk about in a little, and a restaurant in this season. So this is another team. The Cardinals didn't score another offensive touchdown after halftime. Pitched a shutout after that. So I think it's a tale of two halves. It's week 1. Sometimes these starters, they come out a little slow, but then after the second half, after they find their rhythm, they're a good team. So I like the Bills. I do think they are just a tad better than the Dolphins sitting at number 8.
I like it, though. I like it. At number 7, though, give me the Houston Texans. I would have had them a little higher on this list, still, but they were barely able to sneak one out in Indianapolis. Give credit to the Colts. They battled tough. Offensively, the Houston Texans started off right where they ended off. Still, CJ Stroud right back at it. Joe Mixon, though, we thought Stephon Diggs was going to be a very impactful. I didn't expect this from Joe Mixon. If you tell me Joe Mixon, I'm not expecting 160 though. But if he's going to hover around 80 yards plus a game, that's going to be interesting to watch with the Houston Texans moving forward. I like everything I saw defensively. I feel like they could perform a little better, but hey, it's just week 1. Not going to overreact. Give me the Houston Texans at number 7.
I think the listeners and you might not like it or agree with it, but a winner, number 7, the Philadelphia Eagles. And I'll say this. Yes, Saquon stole the show, and I agree, and I think you agree as well. I think he's going to have a career year this season. Behind that, offensive line, scored twice on the ground, 1 through the air. He came the second player in franchise history to score 3 or more touchdowns like T.O. Back did it in 2004, but I worry about that defense, that secondary. Is Vic Fangio going to make a change in that defense? I don't know. That defense still looks a little iffy, if I'm being honest. And there are major concerns with Jalen Hurts. I think he got the worst grade out of every quarterback in week 1.
Nah.
Yes.
Daniel Jones, Bryce
he
Young.
got worse. 29.8 overall grade, 33.3 passing grade, and a 41.2 running game. He was 20 for 34, completed 57% of his throws on 278 yards. He had 2 picks. Should have had 4. Should have had 4. And his QBR was 38.8. He had 33 rushing yards on 14 carries. That is a major concern. Major concern. That he needs to be better. didn't look like he got better. And granted, it's a weird game in Brazil. Gonna
Bad
dust it up
field.
to bad field, dust it up to week 1. They played a good team in the Green Bay Packers, but I didn't like what I saw. Lowest grade from PFF out of every quarterback, and we saw Bryce Young throw a fucking pick in his first play. So that is very telling in itself. I doubt he'll stay that bad, but week 1, he's down at number 7.
At number 6, still, give me the Buffalo Bills. I love what I saw in the second half, and I'm be honest, I gotta give them credit. They came back from a double-digit deficit. Give credit to that defense, allowing no touchdowns, like you said, in the second half. To me, that was impressive. One of my main concerns coming into the season, how that defense is gonna look with all those veteran places they were just able to let go in the offseason. Still, that secondary looking better than I thought. That defense playing better than I thought. Josh Allen, he's amazing, dude. You know this. I know this. He's amazing. I thought the wide receiver core was going to be a concern. I'm not going to say I love what I saw, but they just eased my concerns just a little bit. Great win for the Buffalo Bills. Give me the Bills at number 6.
At number 6 for me, I'm going to go to Houston and take the Texans at number 6. I love what I saw. A very good game back and forth against a team I think most people are going to think maybe not this year, but maybe next year compete in the Indianapolis Colts. Obviously, star of the game was Joe Mixon. I mean, he rushed for 159 yards. He was great no matter what they did. Light box, he ran for 88 yards. A neutral box, he ran for 34 yards. And a stacked box, 8 men, 37 yards as well. So he kept the Texans offensive flow. I like what I saw from Stephon Diggs as well. My worry is not the offense. We know they're going to put up numbers. CJ Stroud looked good as well. Threw for 234 yards. My worry is their defense. Singletary, Stingley, he was a top 5 pick a few years ago. He got torched a couple times. So I worry about their defense a little bit, but I think their offense in a shootout, there's not a lot of teams that are going to beat them in a shootout. So I like this team. Not yet a top 5 team, but on the outskirts looking in.
At number 5, Dill, give me the Philadelphia Eagles, Dill. I understand your concerns, but it's week 1. I'm not going to overreact. I think the Green Bay Packers are a very good team. I think Jalen Hurts will be just fine. I think the biggest impact was Saquon Barkley. I think we both knew it was going to be an upgrade over DeAndre Swift, but we didn't see this. 3 touchdowns in week 1. A.J. Brown still doing A.J. Brown things. We both cashed for Devontae Smith over. Dallas Goedert looking good. He's looking healthy. Defensively, Dill, the front was doing his thing. Your boy, even Huff, he showed out. He had himself a good game against Green Bay. It's just the secondary, Dill. The secondary still worries me a little bit. They'll see, give it a couple weeks to see how they develop. But for week 1, I'm not going to overreact. I like what I saw from everybody but Jalen Hurts. I do agree with you. Jalen Hurts could have easily thrown 4 interceptions there, but guess what? He did it, and they walked out with a victory. Give me the Eagles at number 5.
At number 5 for me, I'm going to stay in the state of Texas and take, how about them Cowboys? What a game. That got paid. I thought offense played really good, and for everything, especially me, I feel like I hype up the Browns every year. For as good of a defense on paper they have, it was the defense on the other side that looked good. Overshown. I think his name is Marvinary Overshown, the linebacker. I mean, this guy came out of fucking nowhere. He looks great. I love what we saw from Micah Parsons, and they made Deshaun Watson look like bad like that. You gotta watch the video. There's this Cleveland reporter where he goes out $234 million guaranteed, and you're telling me he's a franchise quarterback? You're telling me it's the 2-time coach of the year, Kevin Stefanski? He goes, it's not. He goes, cut your ties with them. He's on average with Bryce Young and Daniel Jones. And to be honest, he's not wrong right now. So Browns bottom 20 for me. I'll say that for right now because that was awful. But Cowboys, what they did, at home, put up over 30 points on a top 5, quote unquote, top 5 defense. I loved it. I love the run game. I think Zeke's going to be great this season. Weird seeing him in 15, but CeeDee Lamb, they're going to get him going as well. And that defensive line, they were able to get pressure on a very good offensive line. I like what I saw from the Cowboys. Like, give me them at number 5.
So give me the Cowboys at number 4, Dale. Just to add on some of the things you were saying, Dale. What we heard all season from the Cowboys team was they weren't aggressive in the free agency, Dale. But week 1, you got 2 guys who weren't on the team last year making the most noise, like you said, Overshawn, and then my boy, Eric Hendricks. The only signing in the all season, linebacker Kyle Hendricks, he had himself a game. Eric Hendricks, he had himself a game. Overshawn, DeMarcus Lawrence had himself a game. Defensively, Dale, that's what I wanted to see. Our Cowboys defense is going to be as good as it was these previous seasons without Dan Quinn. And to be honest, Dale, they started off right there. Offensively, I understand Dak didn't do much, CD didn't do much, but he got to give credit to the defense of the Cleveland Browns. That is a top 5 defense. I understand, the game wasn't ever close. Give credit to like I said, give credit to the Cowboys defense. I think the defense showed out, and I think their offense will steady improve throughout the season. Give me the Cowboys at number 4 with an impressive, dominating win.
At number 4 for me, shout out my boy Dan in the chat. I'm going to go take the Baltimore Ravens at number 4. I know they lost, but they lost to its back-to-back Super Bowl champs in the Kansas City Chiefs. So not going to really overreact. I thought Lamar played amazing. He literally left everything out there. My one worry with the Ravens is you go out and get a workhorse like Derrick Henry to give it the ball 8 times. That just can't happen. They did exactly what they did in the AFC Championship, go away from their game. And I understand they were down and, they had to fight back to and make some passes, but you got to establish the run. You don't get Derrick Henry to not run the ball. So that was my one problem. I thought defensively, they looked good. They were able to force a turnover on Patrick Mahomes. We saw that as well. So I'm not going to worry. They played the Super Bowl defending champs. I think against any other team, they get a win. I still think they're a top 5 team. Give me the Ravens.
So at number 3, give me the Detroit Lions. With that running game, I can't deny it, Dale. They still look like one of the best running games in all of football. And this is why they're number 3 to me. The fact they was able to win the game without their best offensive weapon, honestly, not showing up, that's the impressive part. We already know, the running game is going to show up. The fact that Amon St. Brown just had 13 yards still, and the Lions are still able to win this game against a very impressive Rams team who you are high on, who I like very well, and whose defense is much better than anybody anticipated, Dill. You got to give credit for the Lions for still winning this game at home. I understand they're at home, I understand everything, but I give respect to the Rams, and I like the way the Lions executed when they needed to execute. David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, I still think it's the best 1-2 punch in football. And if Jameis Williams is going to play like that, when Amon St. Brown steps up and finally plays like the form we're seeing for him play for multiple years now, this offense might be one of the best offensive football, Dill.
Yeah, I agree. Lions at number 3. Not going to add too much. I agree. I think even Sam Laporta didn't have a quote-unquote great game, too.
That's the whole point.
So wait till this offense gets the wheels going a little bit. Not worried about Jared Goff. People are like, oh, he's turning the ball over.
He always turned the ball over.
He's going to throw 10 interceptions. Yeah. He's fine. I'm not worried about Jared Goff at all. My big surprise, though, and I wrote it down because I wanted to save it to this segment, but Terrion Arnold, the DB that they drafted, in his debut, he finished with 8 total tackles in the win. He took 97% snaps. He was out there. He missed 1 snap last year, shut down Cooper Kupp a few times that he versed him. But, it's evident, the lights aren't too big for this guy. I really like what I saw. And that was the issue for this Lions team. It was their secondary. So getting a guy like Terrion Arnold, really good. He plays every snap. He plays hard. And he had 8 tackles in his debut. He was all over the field. I think that's a big thing moving forward for this defense. So I agree. Lions at 3 for me.
So I kind of just want to say 2-1 because we both have the same 2-1. So I'm going to just do 2-1, though. At number 2, give me the San Francisco 49ers. And I'm going to put the Chiefs at 1 just because the Chiefs, in my opinion, had the more impressive win. They're back-to-back champs, and they beat the Baltimore Ravens at home. Don't get me wrong, the 49ers, they did beat your Jets, though, but that defense that showed up for the Jets ain't the defense I anticipate the Jets to have moving forward. So I think the 49ers and the Chiefs are the two best team in all of football. Small chance they might meet in the Super Bowl again.
Yeah, agree 100%. I got 49ers at 2, and
Oh,
I
you got me
have
tough.
the Chiefs at 1. I thought Leonard Floyd played well as well. He compliments Nick Bosa and D Ford a lot on that
Musgrave as
defensive
well.
line. Yeah, as well.
Musgrove.
Musgrove, yeah. So, yeah, I like what I saw from the 49ers, and doing that without without not your best, the best running back in the league with a
The
rookie.
offensive player of the year.
Yeah, it says something. So I got to put them, and Chiefs at number 1. I mean, we talked about it a few pods ago, but I fucking hate the Bills for allowing the Chiefs to get Xavier Worthy. Oh my fucking God. They got better.
Let's not forget, they also were the team that traded away the 10th overall pick for them to get Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, so they fucked us multiple times. But yeah, I think it's pretty evident the top 3 teams in the league right now. And then it's all subject to change. Obviously, week 1, not going to overreact a little bit. But I'm glad. I like our 1 through 10. Not a lot besides 1 through, I think 1 through 4 maybe. We had the same. Nothing. We were all kind of different.
Besides, I had the Ravens at 8. You have them higher. The only reason they're at 8 for me because they did lose. But the only difference really was Steelers and Patriots.
Yeah.
You had Rams and Dolphins, who I got right there.
Yeah, they're all borderline.
Yeah, I just feel like the Patriots had more an impressive win than Miami Dolphins. To me, they should have not blown out, but at least covered against the Jacksonville Jaguars.
11. Like I said, 11. I have the Steelers. 12. I actually have Green Bay. 13.
Malik Willis at 12.
Well, he hasn't played yet.
It don't matter though.
Week 1, we're grading him on week 1. Boy, Jordan Love. And 13, I got Baker. You mentioned him earlier in the show. I thought they played really good. 14, I have
the Patriots.
Where do I have the Patriots?
You got the Jets in front of the Patriots and the Saints.
Yeah, you're gonna hate me, but I have the Patriots at 23. I know, but it's week 1. It's week 1. It's all
right. Watch what happens week
3. Before we get to our plays for Thursday Night Football, let me tell you guys about our sponsor, Viva Tequila Seltzer, the most refreshing hard seltzer on the market, hands down. It's no wonder why Viva was voted number 1 hard seltzer in the world by San Francisco World Spirit Competition, with only 88 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and a light 4.5 ABV. Viva is the perfect drink for your post-game celebration, as it was created with that active lifestyle in mind. We flavor tequila seltzer because flavor is the spice of life, and we like our drinks with just a kick, just like how we like our lives. Whether it's Huckleberry playing a round of golf with the boys or an elderberry watching Thursday Night Football, it doesn't matter. Our favorites pair perfectly with that Artisanal Blanco tequila for that subtle and refreshing drink. I believe here at the Dream Wager and at Viva is to live long, live well, and live it up. All right, kid, let's get to it. Thursday Night Football down at the Hard Rock. I almost said Hard Rock Casino, Hard Rock Stadium. Bills at the Dolphins. Right now, lines, Dolphins -2.5 at home, +2.5 for the Buffalo Bills. Money line for the Dolphins, -142, +120 for the Bills. Over under is at 49.5. Money has come down, opened up at 51.5. It's come down to 49. I agree with the line movement, if I'm being honest. We'll start with the side, though. Both teams have, came out of the gate a little slow, but both pitched second half shutouts. Can they bring that momentum here into week 2? How we feeling for this game, kid?
Just from week 1 performances, I think Buffalo looked like the better team. Especially the fact that he was able to come back double digits. Who I think we both like Arizona. I think Arizona is a little better than Jacksonville in my opinion. I don't know yours, but I'm a little higher on Arizona than I am on Jacksonville, Dill. And like I said, I expected Miami. I'm not gonna say blow them out, but at least to cover against Jacksonville, and they couldn't do that. I understand the situation before the game. Maybe that has something to do with the team vibe or something in the first half, because that offense was very lackluster. Let's just say that in the first half. And another thing that's concerning to me, we know Miami's a high-powered offensive machine when that running game is going, Dill. Week 1, Dill, that running game was non-existent. That's my main concern. And not for nothing, though, I think the Buffalo's defense, especially the front seven, is going to be a little better than Jacksonville's front seven, if you ask
Mm.
me. So, don't get me wrong, I like Miami. I do. But I think it's going to be a tough task for them on Thursday night to win this game at home. I like Miami, but I think Buffalo right now is a little better. I don't think 81. Let's just say they go for another 100 or under rushing. I think you need to dominate time of possession to beat this Buffalo team. You need Josh Allen on the sideline as much as possible. If right now Raheem Mostert and Devon Arcane are questionable game time decisions for this game. If those two are a no go or just one of them are no go, I just don't see how this Miami offense could keep up with Buffalo offense if they're going. So give me the Buffalo Bills on the money line at plus 120. Don't get I like Miami, like I said, but from what I saw week one, I think Buffalo's just a little more ready right now.
Yeah, I feel like Buffalo should have won by more than 6 points on Sunday against Arizona. And I feel like the Dolphins, they benefited from kind of a 14-point swing and like kind of a two play sequence, even with Josh Allen's hand injury, non-throwing injury. I do think the Bills are a step up from Jacksonville, most notably, obviously, on offense. And, they do have a revamped receiving core. He threw it to 9 different players who had a reception on Sunday. So he spread the ball out, and 5 of those players recorded 23 or more yards, with the one being just having 19 yards. So guys are getting targets and they're getting yards as well. And the Bills in week one, they ranked second in EPA per drop back. Allen, he came out this week. He told reporters that he'll be fine. I believe his hand's going to be good enough. It's his non-throwing hand. Shouldn't really worry too much. I agree. I like the short dog in this divisional dance on Thursday night. I think the wrong team is favored. I took the 2.5, but I think they're outright live underdogs as well. Bills 9-1 straight up in the last 10 versus the Dolphins. They own them. They really do.
Another thing, Dale, real quick for the people listening, what's one of the biggest home field advantages Miami have? It's that damn sun beaming on them. They sit in the shade. The opposite side is they have no shade. It's a night game, Dale. So that's one of your biggest home field advantages right there. And one thing we know about the Mafia, deal, they're gonna travel.
Oh yeah,
I guarantee they're driving down right now. It's Tuesday night. They on 95 right now, driving
going all the way down to Miami. And we saw Pittsburgh. They travel well. Buffalo travels well too.
I'm trying to tell you, Dale. I just feel like for Thursday night, from what we just saw 2 days ago, Buffalo is clearly the better team.
Yeah, I agree. We're both on Buffalo here. I took them plus 2.5, but I think the plus 120 on the money line is live as well. Like I said, for the total, though, opened up at 51.5, come down 49s. I even see 48s out there. So it is continuing to tick down. One, do you agree with the line movement? And 2, how would you play the total?
Absolutely, I agree with the line movement, just because as of right now, we have a big question mark in the running back room for the Miami Dolphins. Still, we know, like I said earlier, this offense is at its best, and this team is at its best when the running game is hitting. We saw it last year. Most are 20-plus touchdowns. King was just a fantasy god with all the numbers he was putting up. Tua, play action. You got Tyreek. You got Waddle. That's when this offense is running at its best. And right now, both running backs are hurt. That's the question mark leading to week 2. And then in week 1 against Jacksonville, they were lackluster. And I think Buffalo's rush defense is a little better than Jacksonville. So how you expect them to perform better against a better defense while banged up? That's a huge challenge. So I think under 49 is definitely the way to go. Don't get me wrong. Can Buffalo put up 30 with that offense? Absolutely. But I think it's going to be, short week.
24-17.
Josh Allen is a little banged up. Not too crazy. He is a little banged up. And then the running game from Miami's a little banged up. I got to go with the under. I don't know. I'm not taking it officially, but I could see, 24-21 Buffalo.
Yeah, I agree with the line movement. I wish there were still 50s out there. I would have taken the 51.
Yeah, I would have took under 51.5 for sure.
Like you said, man, there's just injury concerns for both teams, Bills and Dolphins, and especially on the defense side. Short week, Miami's stop unit, they're already banged up, specifically at linebacker. We know Bradley Chubb, he's starting the season on the sideline. Jalen Phillips, he's still recovering from that Achilles injury. He only played 60% of the snaps week 1. Other linebacker, David Long Jr., he played through a hand injury. He's questionable for a quick turnaround on Thursday as well. So Miami just dealing with the lot. Buffalo, they didn't come out of week 1 unscathed either. We told you Josh Allen, his non-throwing hand is banged up. And the Bills potentially, they lost their starting nickel corner as well, Tyron Johnson. He has a forearm injury. They don't even know he'll be able to go. So, I think Buffalo, I think they did a good job keeping the Cardinals offense in front of them, especially in the second half. They checked Arizona to the 7th lowest success rate in week 1. They just gave up 4.5 yards per play. I think that's good. I think Miami might have a little better success, but if they keep around 4 to 5 yards per play, I think they're going to be in good hands. In the 2 meetings with Miami last season, the Bills held the Fins to 14 and 20 points on that high-powered offense. So Bills, they come to play. They own this team. They're run heavy and primetime unders. My favorite stat, primetime unders since 2019. Unders are 155 to 105. That's a 60% hit rate since 2019. I agree with the line movement. I agree with the under as well. Let's go to the prop side. You mentioned Josh Allen, Keon Coleman, that run game as well. What are we seeing for prop wise for either team?
Still, realistically, I do like Keon Coleman over. I do think he has a shot, but the matchup with Jalen Ramsey, Xavier Howard, I think that's a tough task for the rookie. So I'm gonna go with the opposite side, though. Jalen Waddle over 63.5 receiving yards. This man just had 105 week 1. We all know Tyreek Hill is gonna get major attention. Let's see if they can stop it. I think Jalen Waddle will be able to win some of those one-on-one battles. And as of right now, the running game is a huge question mark. Is one of those guys ain't gonna go. I expect Mike Daniels in that passing game to be more provident than the running game.
Yeah, I have 2 that I like, and a third one I'm kind of leaning towards, but 2 I like. I'm going to take Josh Allen anytime touchdown -115. I think he gets down there, especially down at the goal line. He'll run into it. He doesn't care if he's hurt. We saw it week 1. He's just going to run in. I like that. Anytime touchdown. I cash on the Brock Purdy over the rushing yard, 6.5. I mean, he was escaping, especially early on. I'm going to go back to it. Tua over, what did I get it at? Over 4.5 rushing yards. That's just too low. I mean, the defensive line will be able to get to Miami. He had 1 carry for 11 yards week 1 against Jacksonville. 4.5 is just too low. He could get that on 1 scramble to us. So I know he slides a lot now, but over 4.5 yards is just too low. And the other one I had, I had it in my bet slip, but I never really put it in. Josh Allen over combined passing and rushing 282.5. Seems like a big number on surface, but he's gone over this number in 6 of the last 9 primetime away games. He's hit this number in 6 straight games versus Miami, last 2 road games versus Miami, and he's hit this in 6 straight games versus Miami in general. He just plays well against them. Like I said, they own them 9-1 in their last 10. I think he just gets up and he balls down in Miami. I think Josh Allen is the big factor. I expect a huge game from him. So I don't know if I'll get there, but all the trends, all the numbers are tending for Josh Allen to have a big game. Any thoughts on them?
I think Josh Allen will have a big game just because, like you said, Dale, he's 9-1 in his last 10 meetings with Miami. I do like him anytime touchdown, realistically. Can he take this game over? Absolutely. His rushing yards is at 36.5. I do feel like that's gettable at 36.5. Realistically, Josh Allen anytime touchdown, I like though. I might even sprinkle something on that.
I mean, it's just, I feel like it's a given. It was like kind of like Brees Hall yesterday.
Yeah, and not for none. I think what was that? Week 17, week 16 matchup to end the season. Josh Allen, I think he had 2 rushing touchdowns. He had 4 total touchdowns that game. He had a huge game down in Miami. Small chance he is able to do the same.
Yeah, I love it as well. All right, kid. Good luck. Let's try to get week 2 in the positive. Let's start strong. Let's go to the diamond. Like I said, 15 games, but a lot of games that really no real meaning for wild card races or anything like that. For example, like Cleveland and Chicago. I know Cleveland's in the playoffs right now, but Chicago's done. Any other games? I'll start, kid, and I'll start with my New York Mets, man. I mean, I gotta take them here, man. I'm surprised they're this short of a favorite right now, sitting at minus 118 with Sean Manaea on the mound. Bowden Francis, I like Bowden Francis, plus 100 at home. Over under is at 8.5. Sean Manaea, though, just last 2 months, especially on the road, he's only had one bad start. Couple months ago, and it was against the Marlins, so not against this team. Like I said, I like Bowden Francis. I think he has good stuff, but the Blue Jays, they just struggle to score runs in general, especially when Francis is at home pitching. Since becoming the starter, they haven't scored more than 3 runs at home for Bowden Francis. Overall, the Blue Jays haven't scored more than 3 runs just one time since becoming the starter about 7-8 starts ago. I love Manaea. He goes long in the games, 6, 7, 8 innings sometimes. I love his over out prop. I think he goes long. I like his K prop. It sits around 5.5, 6.5, depending on the book. But I think the Mets keep it rolling. 10 of the last 11 games are the hottest team in baseball right now. I can't get in front of this Mets team. So give me the Mets.
I love it. I wanted to go with the Mets as well. You know how I feel about Toronto, but my first game will be in Arizona. Texas Rangers taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks. 3:40 start, by the way. You got Cody Bradford taking on Mitch Kelly, Merrill Kelly. Yo, give me the Diamondbacks on the money line. I caught it a little early on minus 137. Still minus 142 I like. I wouldn't touch it more than minus 150, but at home, I think the Diamondbacks is making this late push, and I think they'll take care of business with Kelly on the mound. Give me the Diamondbacks on the money line minus 137.
Yeah, it is getting up there in price, but I do agree. I think Merrill Kelly at home, much better pitcher, so I like that. Other games I like, I'll go to the other New York team, kid, and I just think this game is mispriced. Yankees, I think they deserve to be the favorite at home, but this big of a favorite with Lewis Gill on the mound, or Jill, minus 154, plus 130 for the Kansas City Royals and Cole Ragans. Over under is at 8. I mean, getting plus 130 with an underdog with Cole Ragans, I honestly think he's been better on the road than he has been out on home. And outside of that start against the Astros, I think he's been backable on the road. So, I think comparing lineup to lineup, I think the Royals have the better lineup. I think, they have the better pitcher right now, and they should have won game 1. Their bullpen kind of fucked it up and kind of blew it for them late in the game. So I don't know. Yankees, they struggle to hit left-handed pitchers, and I think the Royals right now are just a better team. So based on pure value, I'm gonna take the Royals here plus 130 as my dog of the day.
Oh, I love it, dude. I love it. And my last pick of the day, to me, key matchup of tomorrow is a pick 'em as of right now. Going to Seattle, the San Diego Padres taking on the Seattle Mariners. Michael King on the mound versus our boy Brandon Rule. Over under sitting at 7. So if you like a under game, definitely the game to watch. If you like offense,
not the game
to watch. Give me Brandon Rule and the Seattle Mariners on the money line. Don't get me wrong. San Diego's been hot. Gotta give them credit on that. They've been playing hot, especially last month or so, looking like one of the best teams in baseball. But I'm gonna go with Brandon Rule in Seattle, who's been playing better ball as of late. Season might be over, but I still think Brandon Rule is a better pitcher in this scenario, and I think Seattle takes the dub. Give me at the pick'em minus 108, the Seattle Mariners.
Yeah, what a game, and yeah, no, not over just yet. Only 3 games out of the wild card, so they're still fighting. Seattle, they're only 4 games out of first place as well, so they got. Yeah, no, from here on out is must win. But yeah, you're right. Marquee matchup. I even see 6.5s out there. I get why the total opened up at 6.5. When everyone's zigging, I'll zag because I know a lot of people are gonna take the under. 2 great pitchers. 1 below offense. Padres have a good offense, but Mariners offense seem to have woken up this past week. They've scored double-digit runs in 2 of their last 5 games. They've scored a total of 38 runs. Yeah, the Mariners, 38 runs the past 5 days. I know the Padres, they've kind of slacked off a little bit. They've lost 3 of the last 4, but they're still scoring runs in their losses. They've scored 3+ runs in 5 straight games. So I think as good as both pitchers are, I do think we'll see some runs here. Based on 6.5, that's just too low. I'm going to take the over. I know a lot of people are going to be on the under, but I'll take the over if you could still get a 6.5 out there. But yeah, kid, that's all I got right now. Updated standings: Red Sox 3 out of the wild card, behind Minnesota. You got some fight left, kid. It's not just over.
It's not over still, but realistically, I felt like when we could have made a push was right after the All-Star break, and we landed face first still. That following the All-Star break, that 10-game, 15-game stretch was just a very disappointing time. If we would have came out the gate, let's just say, win 6 or 7 out of the first 10, we'll be not just games back. We'll probably be first place right now in the wild card deal. But that's where we at right now. I hope we could pull it through, but I think it's gonna be tough last 2.5 weeks of the season.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna all these
and we're
games
down
matter
right now 3-1 to Baltimore. So there it goes.
Yeah, and Baltimore's been very up. They've been the definition of mediocre since the All-Star break. 17 and 18 straight up. I mean, that's just not good. So I'm worried about my AL East ticket for the Baltimore Orioles. But kid, that's gonna do it for this Wednesday edition. Any last words before we get up out of here, kid?
Real quick, just shout out to all the first responders out there, all the firefighters, all the ambulance people, all the first responders. Just give them love, give them credit for tomorrow. Tomorrow is 23rd anniversary of 9/11. So, like I said, I can't think enough. Be thankful for your firefighters and all your first responders out there.
Couldn't have said it better. Couldn't have ended it better. Thank you so much. Good luck. God bless. And we'll see you guys on Friday.